Celtic fans view. We are live. Yeah, it's saying we're live, and I'm actually just trying to get my fire started because I'm trying to see what Sky News are saying to it. Sky News obviously talking about Celtic and the fact that Brendan Rodgers has got a one-match ban. Yes, he has. He's got a one-match ban. I'll just double check this. Yeah, that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. Turn that volume back down on the speaker. How are you all this evening? There's currently 10 viewers in the house. Re-enter with that. Why is this not starting? Evan John says he was expecting to have him in the stands for the Deck Dome, but I'll take the stands in the Livy dugout against them. And the dugout against them. Hazel says, I just hope Brendan Rodgers and DeMarco manage to get across their point. They need to not think the SFA will pay much attention. Why is beaten not being investigated? Where's the tapes? Says Michael Ross. And do you think it's a win? Do you really think it's a win? And you know, the guy in question took to Twitter after and said it was a good day. It was a good day. If he was that good, they would have got Brendan Rodgers off. When he looked after Scott Brown a few years ago, they were trying to get Scott Brown banned, and he got Scott Brown off with the charges at the time. I just think today he's let the SFA off the hook. He's let them off the hook. Sky Sports News. What's Sky Sports News? Just see this. Let just find these things are pain in the ass when they're not working. World news. Just leave it. We'll get it later. Anyway, we're going to run through some of the headlines. Let's see what people are saying on the live stream first. As a lot of people come in. Celtic 1, SFA 0, even Barry. Paul Burrell from Glasgow. Paul, do you think it's a win? Lorna says, good evening, everyone. Didn't think it was a good outcome. Michael Ross says, why was beaten not being investigated? Where's the tapes? Yes, even Baz, how you doing? Gemma, I'm doing fine. I'm doing absolutely fine. Where's the camera? I'm there this time. Yeah, I'm doing absolutely fine. I was in the garden checking our grape vines today. We have grapes growing. Anyway, Tom Max says, hail, hail. Paul Beard says, today's result was not a win. It's a defeat, in my opinion. Paul, that's the way I see it. Stuart Ramsey says, even Baz, I'm not happy with the outcome of this fish yet, neither am. I'm reasonably happy with the outcome, says Chill Pill. Big Dom says, well, we're never going to get a win, were we? When you go to the expense, you bring in the top football lawyer in the country that's wrote a book about football and law, you would think that we would have done better. The minimum that Brendan Rodgers was going to get was a one-game ban. The maximum could have been up to 5, between 2 and 5. He got a 2-match ban, one suspended to the end of the season. So the Sevconians are raging. I bet they'll be raging. Because let's face it, they haven't beat us this season. Under 2 managers, they haven't beat us. So and I still think that we will win the league. We win every game between now and the end of the season. When we win the league, it's as simple as that. Let's get back to some of the comments. And shocking, no comment from our board, and the audio is going missing. Yeah, I want to talk about Celtic statements because when it comes to anything with the fans, when it comes to a statement, when it comes to anything to the fans, Celtic put out a lengthy, worded statement. The statement that they put out at 3:37 Celtic Park time today was short and brief. Following the hearing by the SFA disciplinary panel, Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers has been issued with a 2-match suspension. 1 match immediately will apply to this Sunday's Premiership game against Livingston, and 1 match is suspended until the end of the 23-24 season. Celtic Football Club statement says, clearly we are disappointed with the outcome of today's hearing. Although we will accept the panel's decision, the manager appeared at the hearing today and his defence was presented robustly and thoroughly. Like many other clubs, we will continue to press for the highest standards of VAR with relation to football. When it comes to a statement that comes to do with anything with the fans, Celtic go to town. This was a complete cop out for me. It was a complete cop out. Sorry. It's just this is my own personal feeling. I don't think it was a win at all. I definitely don't think it was a win. I don't think it was a win. I don't think it was anywhere near a win. Well, let's get back to some of the comments before I read a thing that Peter Grant has been talking about. So if Gordon is the agency, still Bill, a private investigation of beating needs to happen. It won't happen, though, Michael. It won't happen. Stuart Ramsey says, we all knew that it was going to be the case. Yeah. Let Beaton know he's been watched. They don't care. They don't care if we're watching Beaton or not. It's, between Beaton and Dallas, when you look at the penalties that the Rangers have been awarded this season with Andrew Dallas and VAR, it's unbelievable. I'm not going to get. We need to go out and we need to play better, right? Between now, the remaining 8 games and potential 2 cup games, we need to play better. It's as simple as that. The time for talking for Brendan Rodgers is done. There's nothing that he could say now that's going to get the fans behind him that aren't behind him. He has to get the players to do the talking on the pitch. And if he doesn't get the players doing the talking on the pitch, he's got some serious questions to answer. It's funny that Celtic are putting out the Player of the Season awards before the end of the season, where they're going to have to pay to go to that. And then the fact that there's going to be a charity game the day after the Scottish Cup final. Will Brendan Rodgers stand on the staircase to Celtic Park and tell us what went wrong this season? And maybe you never know. He may be turning out champion. I hope he does turn out champion, because it'll absolutely sicken that lot. But when fuck it. Anyway, Peter Grant. Peter Grant has been talking about a Blackburn player that Celtic might be after. There's no substance to this at all. Peter Grant has warned that it's going to cost Celtic 10 million to buy some guy called Sammy. And I'm not even going to pronounce this because there's nothing Irish about this guy's second name. There is absolutely nothing Irish about this boy's second name. Sorry. Unbelievable. But the Irishman scored 27 goals in all competitions this season for club and country. He's got loads of potential. He's got potential at he's no young guy, you know what I mean? But Celtic said they could. Peter Grant said that Celtic could potentially go for him. Is that the type of player we're going to go for? A 28-year-old player that's going to cost 10 million? Is that the type of player that I don't know? I've never seen enough of the guy, but he's playing for Blackburn, so I don't watch English football. He scores a lot of goals. Peter Grant says he's seen him as a youngster. Before he got the move to Peterborough, Colchester. Fuck off! It's a fucking nonsense story. Peter Grant's just trying to get in the fucking. Do you know what I mean? He's just trying to talk about something that I can't see as paying 10 million for a 28-year-old player just because he's Irish. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance. Not a chance. He's a goal threat. He scored goals in the Championship, which he said is a difficult league. If you're not playing one of the top sides, it's even harder. He consistently scores goals, and he's just a good footballer. Peter Grant talking about good football players is like me talking about growing grapes, which I know nothing about, but I've got about 8 grapevines that I need to tender and look after. But you just get on with it. Anyway, let's get back. I'd go for Adam Armstrong for 10 million. Chance my arm low. Parker boy, I've just got the comments from this. I know Baz doesn't see this as a victory, but the Huns are fuming. Yeah, no, I don't care if the Huns are fuming. Burnt Island is a cracking golf course. It does that. Allegedly, I've drove past it when I used to stay back home. But yeah, it's got a good golf course. There's another golf course in Fife that is just, I don't know if it's open yet. Beaton is corrupt, says Michael Ross. Beaton should be demoted. He's a useless figure. He's never going to get demoted. It's not really Beaton's the one that you want to watch. It's Andrew Dallas, and they're all in this together. And the fact that they are absolutely. And anyway, 10 million for a player from Blackburn. Are we going to pay 10 million for a player from Blackburn Rovers? Like Peter Grant says. This will be all over the headlines tomorrow because Celtic, the media needs something to grab onto. And this will be a story tomorrow just because Peter Grant spoke about it. 28-year-old. 28-year-old and Peter Grant, who was a fucking terrible midfield player. Let's face it. He was a terrible midfield player. Remember, Peter Grant, even on his own testimonial, Peter Grant in his own testimonial was given the ball at the edge of the box and given the opportunity to score a goal, as you do in testimonials, and he still managed to miss. Oh, Jesus. Right. Anyway, Patrick says we won't spend money any more than 6 million on a player. I'd be surprised if we did. Yeah. 10 million, Peter Law would have a heart attack. Says Helen. Yep. Jot on CCV was Angie's limit with this board. Yeah, I think so. 6 million. I think if we go for anybody over 6 million, it'll be a shock to the Celtic fans. Shock to the Celtic fans. I mean, people are saying that we're going to spend money this summer, but us spending money is buying players between the 3 and 6 million mark. And is that going to be good enough? Is that going to be good enough? I've just got a funny feeling that we're going to go into this summer transfer window again. I mean, I don't even want to start talking about the summer transfer window because I just think but there's going to be a movement of players out of the club, and you're probably going to get about 3 or 4 players coming in. Will they be good enough standard? If Celtic, we need at least one keeper. We need a striker. So, are we going to spend 20 million on 2 players? I can't see that. Can't see it. The Huns mind games would be too obvious if he was banned from the touchline. Yep. Baz, leave Peter Grant alone. Yes. To be fair, Grant said O'Reilly was good. Yeah, he did say that. He did say that. So give him that. If he has Burnt Island, must have beat the players. Oh man, right. I'm going to read some of the headlines that was kicking around after today's nonsense. DeMarco revealed Celtic verdict, and Brendan Rodgers here, lawyer vows to be back at Celtic Park. Yeah, he took to Twitter and went, that was an easy fucking 30 grand for a day's work or whatever he charges. And a fucking waste of money. A complete waste of money. I could have went in and got Brendan Rodgers a 1-match fucking suspended sentence. Let's face it. Brendan Rodgers, Celtic are disappointed. Yep, they're in half. Celtic lawyer reacts on social media after SFA verdict. Yep. And then the fought another online publication. No ban for Brendan Rodgers for the derby. They didn't say derby. They said that word that we don't use. Even France 24, the French media, France 24 is talking about it. No ill film ban for Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers. Anyway, that's a bad French accent. Huh? How Celtic feel about the Brendan Rodgers verdict as club release official statement. It's not how they feel. It was a poorly worded, thrown together piece of nonsense. Because anything that comes out, I mean, if you look at all the statements in the past, when Celtic put out a statement against the Green Brigade or against anything that the fans do, it's a fucking, it's like a Ross and Rachel moment. It was fucking 18 pages long. I fell asleep reading it. Comes to the SFA and they go, blah. Anyway. Oh, Jesus. If you'd seen Peter Grant in the flesh, you would admit he was brutal. He was. He was brutal. And I did see Peter Grant, DJ Singy's in the house. How you singing? Yeah, Peter Grant was brutal. Peter Grant was okay because he had good players round about him at the time. And that was his only saving grace for Peter Grant. But he was a player that you could keep in the team and you could run all day long. And yeah, Peter Grant would run through a brick wall for Celtic. Doesn't mean he was a great player. That's like saying Tony Ralston's a fantastic player. But he's not, is he? So I'm saying about Peter Grant is some people regard him as a legend. He is a legend. Of course he's a legend. Of course he's a legend. Anyway, I'm getting get the feeling the week before the season starts, we'll be relying on Bain or Seagrass. Don't, Patrick. Don't. Oh my God, could you imagine? If we've not got some, we'll talk about this later. It'll make me cry. That'd give me the absolute fear. Give me the absolute fear. Anyway, you can guarantee that I don't think Brendan Rodgers will be taking the press conference tomorrow at Celtic Park. I don't think he'll be taking. It looks like it'll be John Kennedy, because if you want to control the narrative, if Brendan Rodgers is put up in front of the press tomorrow, all they're going to talk about is what happened today. They're not going to talk about the game, right? And it's going to do the game an injustice. We need to be fully focused on this game. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if it was John Kennedy that took the press conference tomorrow rather than Brendan Rodgers, purely for the fact that you don't want anything to take away from the game of football that is this weekend. Because let's face it, Livingston are going to play a completely different game of football from the last time that we played them. A completely different game of football. They're going to sit back and just try and soak up as much as they can. And it's an important game. We need to win it. We need to make sure that we win it, because if we drop any points, not that we're going to drop points against Livingston, but if for God knows what reason we did, we'd then be going into, we need to win. It's as simple as that. It's a must win. We must win the last remaining 8 games. And if Brendan has not got these players motivated enough to do it, I will get to the end of the season and say, look, maybe Brendan, will he go? No, he won't go. Brendan Rodgers won't get sacked. Even if he lose the league, I don't think he will get sacked. I think he's too... This board are far too together now. The fact that our owners went out and got this top lawyer to protect Brendan, allegedly, that didn't work very well. I think that even no matter what happens, if we don't win anything, and God forsake that they were to go and win a treble, but if we weren't to win anything, Brendan Rodgers will not be sacked this summer. He'll not be sacked, no matter what happens. But I hope that we can still do the double. My hope is we still do the double. At worst, the Scottish Cup. Anyway, tell me what you think. Barker Boy says, Gospel. Michael Ross says, no, he wasn't. Baz never said he was any good. The board are against the fans, but bent to the knee at the Scottish FA. Paul, exactly right. Exactly right. I knew that they would never give the Green Brigade. I mean, it's came out that the Celtic offered the Green Brigade their normal standing section so that the police can watch them and all this nonsense. But when it comes to the Scottish FA, I thought today was another glorious day that will go down in Celtic history. Celtic have had the chance to put the foot on the throat of the SFA and demand answers when it comes to VAR and things. And they shat it at the last minute. They've done this many times over the years since Fergus McCann left Celtic. They had the chance to kneel down and put their knee or their foot on the throat of a club that could have went out of existence completely, but they refused to do it. And there's been many times that Celtic have went backwards because they've took their foot off the pedal. Today was one of those days that they took their foot off the pedal. They had a chance to really just blow the whole VAR situation, open it up, demand. One of the demands that Celtic could have made today, that they could have said, well, why is VAR from now on, why isn't VAR live? Why what the referees and VAR say to each other, that has to be made live at the time. If you want transparency and if you want trust, bring that in. Celtic had the chance to come out with something like that today to try and really open up this whole VAR situation, and they failed. In my eyes, they failed. Definitely. But yeah, Celtic could be doing without any of today's distraction. That's why I think that Brendan Rodgers will not take the press conference tomorrow. I'll be surprised if he does. If he does do it, you know what the questions are going to be. He's going to get 101 questions about. He'll get 2 questions about players, who's fit. He's not going to give any information away about that. He'll say that people are close and people are near, but he's not going to give any information about who's going to be in the squad for the weekend, I don't think. And then they're going to turn their full attention to what went on today. And then they're going to lose control of the narrative once again. So to keep control of the narrative, to make sure it's just talking about the game tomorrow and being fully focused on the game tomorrow, Celtic need to make sure that they put out John Kennedy, and then just deal with it. Deal with it. Put out Kennedy and put out an experienced Celtic player that, I mean, even then, who do you put out? Put out Alistair Johnston. Do you know what I would do tomorrow? I'd put out John Kennedy, who's as dour as anything, and then I'd put out Alistair Johnston. Talk a lot. He'd talk the hind legs off a donkey. Alistair Johnston, just say, Ali, just go and talk to the media for us. It's like, we can't really be doing with this shite. Just go and talk to the media for us. Just for the banter. Just anything. What would we talk about? Just anything. Just whatever they ask you, just talk. And then that'll be him. Boom, boom. Alistair Johnson just totally goes off for one. Fucking brilliant, lad. Absolutely brilliant, lad. Let's jump back into some of the comments. What's Paul Baird been saying? Let me find Paul's comment. The board are against the fans, but bent to need the Scottish FA. Yeah, they do. Gospel Baz, Gospel says Parkhead Boy. He's a legend. Said Flying Haggis. End. Talking about the one and only. Good to hear people talking about Celtic instead of other podcasts slagging fans. Who's other podcasts slagging fans? Are they? I don't watch other Celtic podcasts, to be fair. I'm far too busy. Fucking tending my grapes. We've got grapes growing. Yeah, it's amazing. Give Robertson the ban for giving the yellow card, missing the penalty. Offence because VAR was telling him it was wrong. Well, he cheats. Stuart Ramsey says he'll fall. Carlin says, did you see the Daily Record speaking to Beaton on VAR earpiece? Either nope, I didn't. I didn't say that. I think we've got plenty with Starfelt supposedly wrote down. Carlin. Also happened today. The VAR we use in Scotland is low grade compared to England. It's low grade compared. It's not even VAR. It's like they went to Lidl. They went to Lidl and got VAR. It's where everyone else goes to Marks and Spencers and buys their VAR or you know whatever. We went shopping at Lidl. We did. The new Scottish hate crime law ban orange walks. No, it won't. No, it won't. And I got sent a thing to thing about banning orange walks. Don't even want to talk about that because that just opens up a whole thing. If you ban orange walks, they then go down the road where you need to ban independence marches, and then it comes into civil liberties kind of stuff. And it's like, well, if you ban one march because of what it is, the legal eagles will say, well, you need to ban independence marches. So I've got weed growing. Oh dear. I could probably grow it here. I've got olives, I've got grapes, I've got orange, I've got fucking everything here. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. Right, let's get some more of these headlines coming about Celtic. No old firm, but I wish Celtic publications wouldn't have used old firm thing. I'm not even going to open it. How Celtic feel about the Brendan Rodgers verdict. This club released statement. Celtic react to Brendan Rodgers' FA disciplinary punishment on Yahoo Sport. And then Celtic boss Brendan Rodgers gets one match ban, but technically, that's the Belfast Telegraph. Rodgers avoids Old Firm ban. The Old Firm. Anyway, Brendan one game back. That's what the headlines are going to go with tomorrow. And then Saturday, they're going to try and carry it on to try and get what Brendan really thinks. So hopefully, Brendan doesn't do any of any of the PR stuff. Anyway, I'm almost sticking around for half an hour tonight because I'm going out for something to eat with the missus. VAR's not the problem, so it's those who control it. Paul Baird, absolutely spot on. Absolutely, VAR's not the problem. It's the people that control it and the narrative that they've got. Celtic had a chance today to go in and say, right, this is our terms. Right, this is our terms. You spin it on its head. Say, this is our terms. If you want us to stick to anything with any kind of legality, right? Why is VAR so secretive? Why can the television crew hear what's going on with VAR? Why is it not played over the tannoys? Why is it not played live so that the managers can hear it? Do you know, if it can be done in other sports, if rugby can do it, what's stopping Scottish football? What have they got to hide? And you know what they've got to hide? The fact that Andrew Dallas has awarded something like 14 penalties through VAR to Rangers this season. or something ridiculous like that. And it's just absolute nonsense. Celtic had a chance today and they blew it, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, we'll move on from it. Orange walks are different sectarian joke how it's allowed. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that. Scottish media will say lenient one match ban. Yeah, that'll be the way that Scottish media goes. Parkhead Boys Baz only Aston did Celtic trademark Old Firm after they died. No, that the original trademark was between Celtic and Rangers going back years and years and years. They just renew the license every now and again. But did they renew it? No, the trademark's been going for years. And the thing is, it's an absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. No refs in the pitch to play the whistle. Yep. Yes, boys, totally corrupt. VAR says Carolyn. We've been on for 25 minutes. I'm going to see if there's any other Celtic headlines kicking about. Andy Walker shuts down Celtic narrative over Brendan Rodgers as a huge embarrassment that needs fixed. Oh, fucking Andy Walker. Brendan Rodgers explains what Celtic will change versus Livingston after Scottish Cup drama. He didn't really explain that when he didn't explain anything. He just said that it'll be a different kind of game. Andy Walker shuts down. This is the Daily Hun. The Daily Rangers. Andy Walker isn't fussed about Brendan Rodgers facing a touchline ban because he's much bigger things to worry about. He has that. Celtic boss learned that he was sitting in the class with Livingston before returning to the dugout for the Rangers at Ibrox a week later. But no fans. We're not talking about this shit, are we? This is them controlling the narrative again. Once again, there's going to be no fans at a game, at a derby. And the narrative's all about Brendan Rodgers being there. It's not about the bigger thing that they've ruined what was once a fantastic occasion. But we've got to be. I don't even want to talk about them. I don't even want to talk about them. We'll talk about that come Sunday evening and Monday. It's going to be some week next week. Turnbull being found out down south. Well, that was always going to happen. I think the problem with VAR is because they don't know what they're doing. One match bans, the shambles. Is that Kevin says? Why is it lenient for telling the truth? Something has to be done about refs and the SFA. Nothing's going on. Big news. You can meet Hoopy over the Easter holidays. Fuck. Oh, Michael. You're taking me away. You better a better view of the game from the stands. What's the fuss about? Yes, Tom, you do. Andy Walker's a soup taker. Yes, it is that. One match ban, one match suspended. Yes. One game at a time. Livingston is the most important one. Yeah, Livy is the most important game. And tomorrow, I never usually do a live on a Friday, but I might do a little quick one purely to talk about the game and Brendan Rodgers, and then I'm off to the airport to pick up my mother. Livingston game, it's going to take care of itself. Hopefully Rio Hatate will be back. Who gets dropped from the team this weekend if Rio Hatate is back? Is it Paulo Bernardo? And does Paulo Bernardo get dropped? Who gets dropped? Let's talk about the game. Yeah, let's talk about Livingston. I've got 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go. Who gets dropped if Rio Hatate comes back into the team tomorrow? Who gets dropped? Because I have no idea. I've no idea. No idea whatsoever. Right, I'm switching the television off because I never got that on. And the knock on the door is about to come. That's your 30 minutes done and dusted. Drop Bernardo. Drop Bernardo. Would you drop Paulo Bernardo? He's probably the obvious choice. You're not going to drop Tomoki Awata. Who plays? Kun or Yang? Kun. I don't know. I don't know. Nobody comes on after 60 minutes, says, "What's your boy, Matt O'Reilly? Go on. I can't. I'm going out for a meal. Going out for a meal. It is 7:30 here. Hatate won't start. You don't think Hatate will start? I think Hatate needs to start. Hatate needs 60 minutes in his legs. If we're going to play Hatate before the Sevconian game, we need a good 60 minutes in his legs. So you need to start Hatate. You need to start him. I'm sorry, but saying that he won't start is the wrong thing. You need to start him. He needs a good 60 minutes in his legs so that he can play the first 60 minutes against the Zombies at least. Hatate starts on the bench. I'm telling you, I've got a funny feeling that the manager will play Hatate from the start to give him 60 minutes. 50, 60 minutes. Telling you. You've got to think about it like a manager. Don't think about it like as a fan. Think away of the Kalmark back for Sunday. I don't think so. That's why Rio Hatate will play from the start, I think. Rio Hatate will come in just to get him game time. We need more game time. It's okay playing 45 minutes in a closed door match, but then again, it's that pitch at Livingston. You know? Anyway, you shouldn't be eating after 8 p.m. Shut up. Do you know that the Spanish don't go out to dinner until 9 p.m.? See this nonsense in the UK that you shouldn't eat after 8 p.m. It's a lot of bullshit. There's no fucking obesity here in Spain, and they'll eat after 9 o'clock at night. You can't get a restaurant booked after 9:30 at night here. Anyway, what is the saying? Enjoy your dinner. Yes, McGregor won't play. Hatate won't play either, says Parkhead Boy. See you later, says Stuart Ramsey. And on that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around. Where is it?